We begin today with the big tech firms Facebook and Twitter, which both testified before Congress on their role in safeguarding the internet from political interference a few weeks back. Google was a no-show at those hearings, and the tech giant is caught in the hot seat once again. This time for openly discussing ways to manipulate search results, according to a new report. RT's Sara Montes de Oca joins us now with the details. Sarah?
Well, Ashley, a recent report from Fox News host Tucker Carlson obtained emails from Google that found that the tech giant looked to manipulate search results. Now, they found this shortly after President Trump issued the travel ban. Tucker reported that only 2 days after Trump signed the first version of the executive order back in January of last year, Google employees started looking for ways to undermine the president's order by looking for ways to counter what they call Islamophobia. Algorithmically based search results for terms such as Islam, Muslim, Iran, and Hispanic. A Google employee from the search product marketing division explained that there was a large brainstorm within the company on how to respond to that controversial travel ban. And several Google employees were mostly all in favor, writing emails that contained words like absolutely anything you need. One public affairs employee wrote, very much in favor of Google stepping up. Just have a few questions on this, including how partisan we want to be on this. Now, this isn't the first time that Google is caught in the hot seat. Tucker Carlson also recently exposed Google's bias to help Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential campaign. He obtained emails that showed how a senior employee for tech giant was looking for ways to increase voter turnout that would help Hillary Clinton win the election. Just last week, RT reported on a leaked video showing Google executives and their reaction to that 2016 presidential election. Sergey Brin, Google's co-founder, compared Trump supporters to fascists and extremists. The video shows him asking the company to consider options as to what they could do to ensure better quality of governance and decision-making. Now, Trump has taken to Twitter and accused the tech giant of swaying public opinion and silencing conservative voices. Google and others are suppressing voices of conservatives and news that is good. I spoke with author and journalist Derek Brose, who voiced his concern over the issue.
In my view, this is just the continuation of big tech companies like Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Skype, and all the rest of them continuing to show their bias, but also exert their control over the way regular folk use the internet, and now affecting the political world.
Ashley, these tech giants have been making headlines lately, and Attorney General Jeff Sessions is scheduled to meet with some of these states' attorneys next week to discuss some of the concerns on anti-conservative bias in the tech world.
Thank you so much for that report, Sarah. For more on this story, we are joined now by Carrie Sheffield, the national editor of Accuracy and Media. Thank you so much for joining us today, Carrie. We're going to jump right in. Now, Google's response to these latest leaks argue that this was just a brainstorming of ideas and not actual policies. Carrie, if that is true and none of these suggestions were implemented, should conservatives be worried that this is even being discussed by decision makers in big tech?
Well, when you're talking about brainstorming, this is not the kind of storms that I think that 60 millions of Americans who voted for President Trump would agree is healthy if you actually want to pop a bubble, as in a bubble of privilege or whatever you want to call it. There's clearly a big disconnect between voters who vote for President Trump and the elite Silicon Valley bubbles, the elite Manhattan bubbles where I live, which are incredibly liberal on the coast. And we're seeing it over and over in the tech firms. We on our website, Accuracy and Media, had an article about a leaked video showing that one of the Google co-founders was calling Trump voters fascists. And so we're also seeing, just look at political donations coming out of the tech companies. It skews heavily left, not just at Google, but also Facebook and Twitter, et cetera. So I think there's a lot of reason to be concerned. There's also, the president pointed out, his press team, about how Google was having search results. When you searched for the word Republican, for example, in California, came up the word fascist as well. This is a really poisonous connection, which myself as a conservative, I just find this to be incredibly chilling. And I hope that the technology companies, that Google's motto is "Do not be evil." I wouldn't call this evil in terms of what we're hearing. I find it highly questionable. I think people deserve answers, and they need to understand how serious the approach is taking in terms of how people respond to it.
Now, Carrie, if this were a one-off incident, it could be written off as a few disgruntled employees frustrated by a controversial hot-button issue. But this appears to be a recurring theme, and a vast majority of Republicans, as well as quite a few Democrats, seem to believe this is an industry-wide issue. So is there a risk big tech might alienate a major group of consumers, just like many mainstream news outlets have?
There definitely is a risk. I mean, as Michael Jordan liked to say, at the end of the day, you have to sell Nikes to Democrats and Republicans. So if you're making consumer products, because that's what these tech companies are, they're building consumer products, you've got to be careful about the consumers that you're reaching and making sure that you're understanding their needs, that you're not patronizing them, that you're treating their worldview with respect and not disdain, and understanding that there is legitimate policy debates that are to be had rather than name calling, rather than manipulating and putting a sheen, a glossy front as if everything is normal, or that you're not behaving in ways that are antisocial and exclusionary. So there's an organization called the Lincoln Network that I work with. It's based in Silicon Valley. It's conservatives and libertarians in Silicon Valley, and they are very committed to making sure that there is ideological diversity in Silicon Valley, because there is a dearth of conservative and libertarian thought that is openly expressed in Silicon Valley and is quite often suppressed. That's what their survey data has shown, the Lincoln Network survey data has shown. And so this is going to be an ongoing problem, and I'm glad that we're talking about it tonight.
We're going to leave it right there, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Carrie Sheffield, National Editor of Accuracy in Media.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.